Welcome to Central News on TV Central. Cycling has been around for decades, but over the last few years it has become a very popular family-friendly sport. Developments have now begun to make this easier and safer for all while taking in the beautiful scenery the Waikato has to offer. Mayor Julie Hardacre explains.
Well, this is a wonderful project, and this is part of, I guess, the whole cycleways through New Zealand. So the Te Awa Trust, which is a private trust, they've got together to form a project to take the river ride right through from Ngaruawahia right through to Horohoro, which is past Cambridge. And so they're going about putting in all the sections of the river ride right along the Waikato River.
Now, you had a recent signing committing to the Te Awa River Ride. Tell us about this event.
Right, so the council's involved in the 70 kilometres that the trail will go through. That's the Waikato District Council, the Hamilton City Council and the Waipa District Council. We all got together to sign an agreement for our joint commitment to the project and for our involvement in the project. So one of the good things about the Te Awa River Ride is the Trust is funding the actual project itself, and the councils are committing to take it over and maintain it once it's completed. So we signed an agreement to that effect, and it was a great day. We were on the bikes down by the river and got some good photos, and I guess it just reinforced sort of cycling next to the Waikato River and how lovely that is.
What are the stages of the project and when can we expect this to be fully completed?
Well, part of it's already been completed, and that is the part from Cambridge out to Karapiro. So that happened just before the World Rowing Champs that were held at Lake Karapiro. So that's a couple of years ago now. So that part was done, and that's fantastic, and people are using that every day. So the next part that's going to get done is the part from Ngaruawahia through to Hamilton. So the planning's already been completed for that. And then after that, the stage to get it through from Hamilton to Cambridge will be the next major project. So what it involves is the Trust getting permission from landowners along the river for the river trail to go on their land. And in the main, look, people have been really appreciative of that and quite excited about it and very happy to be involved.
Now, where will the Hamilton section be built and what can cyclists be treated to?
Well, one of the things we're quite lucky about here in Hamilton is we already have part of it here, and we've had it here for some years, of course, because we've got the walking and cycling trail all along the Waikato River through our city already. That's about 17 kilometres long. So the idea is that Te Awa, the part from Ngaruawahia to Hamilton will join up with our cycleway that's already part of the city that take you through Hamilton along the Waikato River, and then the next section from Hamilton to Cambridge and then Cambridge to Karapiro to Horohoro. So it's sort of the whole thing. So luckily the part in the city's already here for us to enjoy.
What benefits will this bring to the Waikato?
You know, one of the things we know about, particularly Hamilton, I guess, is lots of families. And one thing we've noticed about the trail already built from Cambridge to Karapiro is it's very, very popular for families. So it's a great opportunity to get out with mum and dad and the kids, get on your bikes, be active, take the dog, and just cycle away down there. So I think the key benefit that I see is not only appreciating the beauty that we have with the river and nature, but also a way to be active and for communities and families to be together. One of the other things that the Te Awa Trust is very keen about is the tourism opportunities. And if we look at some of the bike trails around New Zealand that have already been built, they have attracted a number of tourists. What we do know is that people that visit New Zealand are often cyclists. They come to this country to cycle. So, you know, I'm fairly confident that actually it will draw a number of tourists to our city and our region.
So the path is not just for advanced cyclists?
Not at all, no. And in fact, there's been talk about whether there should be some of those, electric bikes as well, so that people, perhaps older people or people who might struggle with the distances, could have a bit of assistance with electric bikes. So, look, all varying degrees. One of the good things about the Te Awa one, as opposed to many other of the trails around New Zealand, is that ours is, relatively smooth and straightforward and not too hilly. Some of them, of course, are quite a high degree of difficulty. So, look, it's going to be for everyone, and get your bikes out there and on you go. And some of the other things they've been talking about is having an art trail as part of it. So there's been lots of talk about whether there'll be some particular sculptures telling our history and our story of the river and how it's connected with us today. So I think all in all, it's going to be fantastic.
What else is special about this track?
Well, I think, it's a lot of people cycle in New Zealand, and we do like to go around all these places, but for this time, for the last few years and into the future, lots of communities around New Zealand are building cycle trails. So I think what's special is it connects into all the other ones that are being built, and it gives an opportunity for parts of the Waikato River and parts of our surrounding region that have not really been seen by people. It gets them a chance to see them now, and in such a great, physically active way.
How long is the river ride, and what other towns will it include?
So it's about 70 kilometres long from Go to Woe, and starts at Ngāruawāhia, and then it'll come through along the river to Hamilton, and through Hamilton along the river, then straight out to Cambridge, to Karapiro, and then on to Horora. So, it's all the little places along the way, but in the main, those are the main centres. So a good part of it will be right up close, connected with the river, which I think is just lovely.
Now, who has been involved with making this project happen?
One of the really lucky things about this trail is that it's the private sector, the philanthropic community who have been involved and who have raised money and are part of the trust. The Well Energy Trust also contributed a significant amount of funding to enable this trail to happen, so that's great news as well. So it's a project that's been brought together through the community and the hard work of many people in the community to raise the money. Some of the councils have also put money in to assist with funding, and that's a great commitment. Our council, of course, our funding was committed to the river trails that we've already got in the city, and we've of course been maintaining, we built those and maintained them all these years. Where the council involvement will come in is when we take over the management and the upkeep of them after they're finished.
Just ahead, Relay for Life. Welcome back. The Cancer Society's Relay for Life took a 4-year leave from Tauranga, but it will be back next year. I spoke with Rachel from the Cancer Society to find out more. So Rachel, what is Relay for Life?
Relay for Life is two things. It's a community event that aims to bring awareness to cancer, but also provide a place for people who have been touched by cancer to come together, celebrate with those who have sort of won their battle, remember those that haven't, and also it's a fundraising event for the Cancer Society.
And now it hasn't been in Tauranga for a very long time. How long has it been?
The last time it was in Tauranga was in 2008. We move the events around our region, so we have Relay for Life events in Hamilton, Tauranga and Rotorua, and it sort of swaps year by year to give every community a chance to have a go.
Because you are going to have it next year in Tauranga, will you not have it in Hamilton or Rotorua then? Or?
It's possible. I mean, dates haven't been confirmed as yet for the other events, but it's possible we might have it in Tauranga again rather than Rotorua, or something like that.
Now, it was launched again recently in Tauranga. They had a little bit of a shindig to launch the campaign.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Councillor Tony Christensen, who's a councillor at the Tauranga City Council and also a well-known Paralympian, did a lap around the new track down the Tauranga waterfront to launch the event, and registrations are now open for all teams to enter.
Now, it sounds like a really fun event. So how long is the route that the Tauranga one will be?
It's roughly 500 metres, so teams will relay around the track during that time, but not all team members need to be on the track at any one time.
So it's a 24-hour event. So how many people would the best be in a team?
Well, we ask for teams of 10 or more. There's no limit, so you can sort of build your team up as much as you like, and therefore you would have to probably do less, but it's best to probably have 10.
Can you walk the event?
Yeah, walk, run, whatever you like. It's a community event. It's not aimed to be a strenuous athletic event. It's more about people getting out there and having a bit of fun.
So how do people stay out through the night?
Well, there's a real festival type atmosphere. There'll be bands and entertainment stalls and that sort of thing, so it all adds to the hype and the vibe of it, I think.
And that's all going to be in Tauranga, isn't it?
Yes, it is, on the 23rd and 24th of March next year.
That sounds super exciting. Why do you think it is so important that we have events like this?
Well, they're great community events. It really brings people out who've been touched by cancer. We talk about the Celebrate, Remember, Fight Back, so that's sort of about celebrating again the people that are fighting, the people who have fought and lost their battles, and remembering fighting back against a disease that affects 1 in 3 in New Zealand. So 1 in 3 New Zealanders. So it does create a lot of awareness for cancer, and that's a good thing in our communities.
And is that awareness about, kind of going out and getting tests done and that kind of thing?
Yeah, a general awareness. There's a lot of it in our communities, donating to causes, helping out where you can, all those things.
Because does the Cancer Society work with Child Cancer Foundation and all those other ones to help fund them as well?
Separate organisations. The other ones are more they're focused on their specific areas. The Cancer Society looks after the well-being of all New Zealanders, of all cancers, all ages.
Because that's a very big job. That, as you said, 1 in 3 people in New Zealand are affected by cancer. Are events like these crucial to that funding?
Yeah, they are a crucial part of it. We use that funding to provide our Living Well programs for cancer, people undergoing cancer treatment, funding cancer research and SunSmart programs, tobacco in the tobacco area as well. So yeah, it is crucial.
And where does any other funding come from? Do you guys get government funding as well? Or?
No, we fundraise through other events. Obviously Daffodil Day is our big one, and other sorts of things like that.
So when you do have these things like Relay for Life, do you kind of have, do you find that people talk about their journeys with cancer?
Yeah, absolutely. We have certain things throughout the Relay for Life event. We have a candlelight ceremony, so people can put candles in a bag, and it's quite a nice sort of time for people to remember. So there's definitely a lot of talking, a lot of sharing. It's good.
And so with the 24-hour event, people camp out, you were saying?
Yes, they do. They can camp and spend the night around the track, which again adds to the atmosphere.
And because a lot of schools and businesses do it, don't they?
Yep, they do. Good team building event.
Yeah, it sounds it. Are there any other Relays for Life around New Zealand?
Yes, there will be 22 Relay for Lives around New Zealand in 2013. So it's an international event. I think it touches about 6,000 communities worldwide. So a really well-known event, but well-known in New Zealand as well.
Wow. And how much does it usually raise?
Usually it raises roughly about 100,000 for an event. Yep.
Per event?
Yep, which we use for funding cancer research and those programs that I discussed before.
That's an amazing amount for one event, isn't it? It's an
event that people are really generous towards. They like to sort of celebrate with those, that are there, and it's a really nice event.
For more information about Relay for Life or to register a team, visit relayforlife.org.nz. Email events@cancersociety.org.nz or phone 07 571 2035. Coming up next, some Christmas budgeting advice. If you have just joined us, welcome to Central News. Christmas is usually a positive time of year, but financial stress unfortunately affects most of us around this time of year. I spoke with Diane of the Tauranga Budgeting Service for some more tips and to see if it's too late to start budgeting for Christmas.
It is, however, with only less than 3 weeks left now till Christmas, this is a good time to look at how much money you've got up until for Christmas and allocating it effectively. So you can still budget with what you've got and make wise choices.
When is the ideal time to start budgeting for Christmas?
The ideal is New Year's resolution. That's the ideal time to say, well, let's look at what we're going to do this year, start some planning and simple tips and start then.
So when would be the ideal time to start budgeting?
So in the new year, like you can start now for next year is what a really good idea is. If the sooner you get onto that habit of saving so much a week, the sooner you'll have a lot of money next year for Christmas, so it won't be so stressful.
So essentially start budgeting now for next Christmas?
Absolutely, I think that's the best time to do it. And that can be $5 a week. The sooner you start and the more regular you make it, the more money you're going to have. That's going to take all that stress out of next Christmas.
So we should actually be putting a separate account, setting up a separate account for Christmas?
Some of the things that I talk to clients about is have put a separate account. If you want both of you to sign, so it's not so easily accessible, do that. Start in the new year and have some really good tips that you want to start with. Come and see one of our free budgeters. Come and see one of our budgeters that offer free advice and start some little tips now. There might be things that we can help you save what you're currently spending, and that might mean that next Christmas is going to be less stressful.
What are some ways that families can budget for the festive season?
Best advice I suggest is come in for some free budgeting advice. You can do that also online or get some of the sorted documents that are accessible to people, but just start thinking about it. Get your bank statements out, get the kids involved, get some bright highlighters and go through and look at what you've spent all your money on, which can be quite eye-opening. And it's the best gift you can give to your children, is getting them starting to think about what things cost early. Other lists that you could make is, so what really are your priorities? Are you in your own home? Are you renting? All of those things. So really, it's the big picture. So come and seek some free advice and we'll help you with that.
Are you seeing an increase in customers coming here with the rise of unemployment?
Not with rise of unemployment, but more people in hardship. So that's both wage earners and beneficiaries. So we see both. And we have seen a lot more wage earners this year and people wanting to make hardship withdrawals from their KiwiSaver. So we are involved in looking at the big picture with those clients to make sure that's the best option for them.
Why do you think there's such an increase in wage earners using a budget advisory service?
Because they know that we are available, we do provide free advice, and it's so much easier to get onto some really good planning now so that it makes it easier in the long term.
Are there any online tools that we can be using?
Yes, so the New Zealand Federation of Budgeting Services has a website which is easily accessible and that has tools. So start your own budget. Even if you want to do that before you come to us, we often get people bringing in their own budgets. And the most worthy tool is the cash flow. So look at how much money you've got in your account and allocate that out. And that's a very worthwhile tool as well. And there's lots of tips and helpful things on the website as well. Also on there, they'll show you where your nearest budget service is, and so that's very helpful to know where you go for assistance.
With the new year and resolution time upon us, are there some tips for budgeting for those new year goals?
Okay, so just get your planning started. I think look at what you've spent in the past. What are your priorities for the new year and for the year ahead, and that will distinguish which are the priorities for you to where to spend, and then allocate your money accordingly.
Would you suggest that people are putting money aside every single week?
Yes, so even people we've seen in the past where they've had big debts and they've got those right down to a minimal amount, I always recommend that they put that money aside, even a little bit into retirement, a little bit into weekly savings. So if the car does break down or they need new tyres, then they've got some money allocated. It's much easier to do that. The other thing is credit cards are great, but very easy. You can have a debit card and you can prepay the debit card so that you've got some money allocated, and the debit cards work really well.
So the key message is put away money for a rainy day?
Absolutely, definitely, because it's much easier to not get into the crisis of that stress at Christmas if things have been well planned.
What is the best way to deal with the financial stress and the stress and then the emotions and the physical stuff that comes with that in the festive season?
Deal with it. Don't hide. It's not going to go away, and the more you hide, the less helpful that's going to be. But really look at some options like Christmas Day. You know, what are you doing? Are you having something, Christmas lunch with the family? Why don't you go to the bar, take a barbecue? We've got free barbecues around the parks and beaches. Take some nice sausages and all get together, the family and everybody, and take some, have some fun at the beach.
So, I mean, yeah, just getting out there and not thinking about the finances.
Exactly, but make sure that it's affordable. So if you've allocated that money, then that's your budget, and enjoy the day.
Diane says it takes about 21 days to form good budgeting habits. If you are in need of some good budget advice, visit tgabudget.familybudgeting.org.nz. That is the news for today and this week. We really want you to be involved, so like us on Facebook and let us know your views. If you have news including your own video and photos, go to our website and hit upload. Thanks for joining us. I will be back next week with more guests from and around the regions. I'm Hilary Entwistle. Have a lovely evening and a fantastic weekend.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.